Hello, and welcome back to Cinema Scrutiny Podcast. I am your host, Billy, and I am here again, as always, with my co-host, John.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. Holidays are coming up. It's the week of Christmas.
Yeah,
Uh,
that it is. I feel like Christmas
trying.
honestly came out of nowhere this year.
Yeah, it really creeped up. I didn't really get a chance to watch any holiday movies yet or anything like that, but
Mm.
been trying to get in the spirit slowly. So
Yeah, I feel that. I honestly, I don't think I would know unless Netflix was bombarding me with Christmas themed movies.
to watch The Grinch, the
Yeah,
Jim Carrey Grinch.
they love it.
It's a good movie. It's a
Mm.
classic now, I guess. I mean, I would say so, but I guess that's up for debate to some people.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
don't what's it, I don't know if you saw this weekend's or last weekend, I guess. SNL was Kristen Wiig was hosting, but
Oh, okay.
they did a Grinch skit, and Pete Davidson was in like a full on Grinch costume. It was something. It's
That's pretty
really
funny.
fucking weird.
I like Pete Davidson. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of the funnier people on the cast.
Yeah. Well, it's not Saturday, but we are live, John.
Holy,
Oh, see what I did there?
brilliant transition.
Yeah. Um, and someone else was pretty live like a week ago. This was if you guys tuned in last week, we talked about Disney Investor Day, so we didn't really get to a lot of like the big news.
Mm.
So we don't have too many topics lined up this week for news wise. Um, but back to my point of being live, there was a big story that came out a little over a week ago about Tom Cruise. He blew up on set, and someone caught him on tape, or recording, whatever you want to call it, audio recording of his explosion on set.
Mm.
A bunch of crew members, or a couple. I'm not gonna say a bunch. We don't really know.
I
Uh,
believe it was two specifically that he was yelling at.
yeah, they weren't following the COVID guidelines on set. They're filming Mission Impossible 7, um, and he basically just blew up and was like, "We're not gonna shut this movie down." Yada yada. You guys can find the clip online. I'm not gonna try to emulate Tom Cruise screaming.
Yeah,
Uh,
the quote in the article that they use: "If I see you do it again, you're fucking gone."
yeah,
He,
exactly.
honestly, like if you think of Tom Cruise yelling in like any movie, like his like big speech in A Few Good Men, or
Yeah,
like any time he's yelled in Mission Impossible, like it's exactly the same. Like
right.
when he's acting, he is living.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, a lot of actors are like that when they're acting, they're really trying to live it. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It was a big controversy, I guess. Well, it was big because it's drama. You know, people love that. But
yeah, no, I agree.
it stirred up the conversation of, was this right? Um, was Tom Cruise in the right for being so angry? Um, and I guess that's part of the reason we bring it up, I guess. But I don't know. I This kind of behavior was pretty normal in Hollywood for like decades, up until like a few years ago. Probably the last time something like this happened was the Christian Bale uh, blow up that he had on Terminator, where he like yelled at like the gaffing or like
Yeah,
the lighting guy. He made like a noise or something and like fucked up the take, and he blew up, and that got out. Usually these things don't get out, but it's extremely common in the film industry for people on set, like producers or higher ups, to just blow their top, if you will.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I think it's I don't want to like undermine how like it is very like you shouldn't yell at people aggressively for any real
yeah,
reason like that. Like you shouldn't blow up on people. But like I don't know. Like it's especially when you're working, 15-hour days in like very tight confined spaces. And
yeah,
like especially if you're one of the actors, like the lights are on you, it's like 700 degrees.
yeah, exactly.
And then somebody just like fucking drops something and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, if you've ever been on a film set for an entire day or like multiple days in a row, it's very much a grind, and
Mm.
tensions can build up. It's it's not cool. Like you should never blow up on
Yeah, I
someone
think it's just
like
like
in front of everybody else.
it's hard to maintain that level of professionalism for so long. It's something that I'd probably blow up on everybody.
Yeah, I mean, they try to teach you if you go to film school. They try to teach you the best thing to do is if you have an issue, then you have to talk to someone privately in like a separate room so you don't embarrass them in front of everybody else. But I don't know. I think Tom Cruise is a little bit more justified in this scenario just because it's a lot more serious. It's not really like a little thing. It's actually like a health and safety risk for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's definitely difficult to be making a movie during the pandemic, and Tom Cruise, like his main argument during his full blow off is that they're kind of setting the standard for what's going to be happening for the next like 6 months to 2 years, depending on
Yeah.
how long it takes for everyone to get the vaccine. And even more importantly, so because I believe they're trying to film this one back to back with Mission Impossible 8, right?
I'm not positive,
It was
but I
either
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it was either 6 and 7, so like they were coming off of Fallout into this, or they're trying to do 7 and 8. I forget which one of those it is.
Right.
But it's like obviously Mission Impossible is very important to Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise is also a executive producer, so he has like even more on the line than just being the actor.
Yes, he's very much in charge of
Um,
what's going on set.
and while I think we can both agree that like it's not the best way to pop off on somebody, I think the reason that in this case, one is because it's more serious, but two, I think it's just very cathartic for everyone else.
Yeah.
Like the amount of like if you're a normal person and you realize that we need to wear masks and we need to social distance and like you understand logic, you're a listener of the podcast.
Right.
It's just like hearing, seeing all these other people, like some idiot in like the CVS or like, like there were some kids in the CVS once when I was down there and they just forgot their mask at home. They're hanging out in town for some reason. So like they put their sweatshirt, like they're holding their shirt over their face.
Sure.
And it's just like, bro, just don't fucking come in. Like you fucked up. Just go home. Like it's like we're dealing with something that everyone's fucking with. And like
Yeah.
it's just not worth it, man. Like just get the fuck out of here. And
Right.
so when
Right.
Tom Cruise starts like he's literally about to beat the fuck out of somebody, it's like yes. Like I'm tired of this going on because there's such fucking idiots out there.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a few comments online of people saying like, "Oh, you think this is bad, but you've never seen Ed Norton blow up on his set," or like, it named a couple other names.
Yeah.
But I think that's true. I think you know, uh, when it comes to like most important things on set, it's safety and like health and safety
Yeah,
because that's like
100%.
the easiest lawsuit to catch. And not to mention this can shut down an entire production, like we've seen with the Batman and so many other things.
Hmm.
So I think Tom was justified. I'm sure he didn't plan on going viral for it, but I don't know. I think that's just part of what's going on right now.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm sure he's stressed out, 24/7. Calling the studio, making sure everything's running smoothly on set. They're getting everything done that they need to get done.
Oh yeah.
So it's a mess, but Tom's trying to make it work without killing someone.
Yeah, I think that it'll probably set a better standard for this thing going forward,
Yeah,
and hopefully everybody can get we can get vaccines safely and effectively. I think, especially for these international films, it's like you could go, like the UK, from what I understand, is doing a pretty good job of rolling out the vaccine. The US
yeah,
is starting to, but it's going to take like 9-10 months for everyone to get it here, just because of the amount of people and the
right.
amount that our government ordered. Um, but when you start filming on location, like all of a sudden it becomes this like a much bigger problem. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see if this helps kind of put other filming locations back on the map, or I just don't know. I think the best thing I can say for films going forward is that if you're the Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show, you're probably fucking living. You're
Yeah, you're probably
probably
fine
cruising.
because you're just gonna live in a studio lot
And
for like,
you're gonna
you
live in
know,
New Zealand, bro. They don't even fucking have it.
well, that too. That's true too. But
Not a case. They're chilling.
probably, probably.
Mm.
Um, that being said, hope Mission Impossible turns out fine. They don't have to shut down. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure everyone on set is very
Now very much on their shit.
very much in check now. Yeah. um that being said, moving on from filming on set to movies actually that are coming out. Uh Wonder Woman has debuted overseas, not in the US yet. It's not till this Friday on Christmas.
Hmm.
But we have some box office numbers from its release in the UK and China. And they're not too good. Not the prettiest.
No.
Um, but that's to be expected. It looks like it grossed about 38.5 million overseas total. Very low for this movie. Um, I mean, like usually overseas, this movie would probably be doing like 150, 200 million. Um, and the China, it's like super down in China. It made 18.8 million in China, which is down. It made about 38 million. The first one made about 38 million in China. So, um, maybe Chinese audiences aren't as interested. I don't know how well they're doing with the pandemic over there, but yeah, I mean, we kind of expected this to happen, but um, interesting to see the numbers as always, though. I guess
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't believe that they even have HBO Max in the like in China.
they don't.
So yeah, so it's definitely all theater sales. I think. I
They only have
mean,
HBO Max in the US right now.
yeah, based on the original 38 million that they pulled in, even in the best times for the original Wonder Woman, it
Yeah,
sounds like they just don't care too much about this movie in general.
it's very possible.
And so I mean, nobody really liked the first one. If no one's going to see it, you come out with a sequel, people, you're even less likely to see a sequel than the original.
Yeah,
So I guess it's just kind of to be expected. I
yeah,
think that the real numbers, like we've said before, the real numbers are going to show in HBO Max subscriptions. I
yeah,
mean,
definitely.
we haven't necessarily talked about it between the two of us, but I'm going to be buying the subscription probably Christmas Day, like right after dinner, and I'm gonna put
Yeah,
this movie on. You know what I mean? Like, are you
I
guys
probably will
gonna?
as well.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna be doing the same thing, just because it's something to watch and it's new and we've been waiting for it.
yeah. I think it's an
Um,
exciting thing. Get the family together.
yeah, um, I agree. It's totally gonna. I don't think that Warner Brothers is looking at the box office numbers as seriously as they normally would be,
Yeah,
um, for obvious reasons. I don't think they're expecting that many people to come out. Um, it's more so just a sideshow at this point, because they want to promote the HBO Max platform. Um,
yeah,
so I don't know. Like you said, I mean, we're gonna be getting it the day it comes out. So
yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of excited because I know there's a lot of we've talked about it a little bit. There's a lot of great content over there. Or
yeah,
just like interesting content. Like Friends is on there, and I'm a
hmm
big Friends fan. I haven't watched it since they took it off Netflix.
sad,
So it'll be nice to have it, I guess, like easily streamable on any device.
right?
The background noise of my life will once more return to canned laughter.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and I know his Dark Materials just got greenlit for a third and final season.
Oh, final
So,
season. Forgot about
yeah, I
that.
think it's because what I read, they go off the books.
Yeah,
And there's three books, and they've done two. So it's like, okay.
gotcha.
Yeah, but from what
So
I understand, the first two seasons are amazing. So like
yeah,
that
I've
has me
only heard good
very
things.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only heard good things, and I do want to watch that, and I also want to watch Euphoria as well. I heard Euphoria is
With
pretty
Zendaya,
wild.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
so
I mean,
there's tons of things to look forward to on HBO Max.
yeah, we should really get a fucking list together for that one because I feel like there's so much HBO content that you don't even really think about because it's always like
Yeah,
behind that wall. Like,
yeah, we just haven't seen
is
it.
Barry? Is that an HBO show?
I
It's the
don't know.
one with Bill Hader. I don't know. People say that's really good.
It's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible.
I don't know. We
I
should
think
definitely
Conan
check
has
it
a
out.
show on there.
Yeah, John Oliver's on there. That's where his show like fully airs. But I
Oh,
usually
okay.
just catch the whole thing on YouTube because it's free.
Yeah, I don't know,
And
but
then, I mean,
I'm
Game of
sure we'll
Thrones is
be.
on there if we want to be disappointed.
Yeah, we can watch the whole series, enjoy it, and then be disappointed at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
But I don't know. I'm sure we'll be talking about more HBO Max content as it comes at us after the holidays. But speaking of things that we want to watch in the upcoming future, um, it looks like we have a list from former President Barack Obama um, about his favorite movies and TV shows from 2020. Now, this is not a political podcast, John. I feel like we say this every other week, maybe every week, but it's a president, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
And
Obama actually puts out, like, him and his wife put out their favorite movie, TV shows, and then also like their like year-end playlist. I think they did it
yeah,
last year and maybe the year before that. And
yeah.
like mad,
I
like I
saw
just
Obama's playlist the other day and was
yeah,
listening to some good shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Obama has taste.
He does. He does.
It's
This
very
TV list that he's got over here, class.
yeah.
Class act.
Like my dude knows what to watch. Like he's got great music taste. He's got fucking great taste in television.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
movies, which we'll get to, never heard of any of them.
I've heard of some of these.
Yeah, I've heard of like one, I think, but we'll get
I
on.
think there's a few of these that haven't come out. Soul is on here, which
Yeah,
I think comes out on Christmas Day as well.
that's true.
Uh,
Yeah, why don't you take us through the movies real quick, and I'm gonna look up Soul while we're talking.
yes. So going down this list, the first movie we have is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah,
If you don't know what this is Chadwick Boseman's like last film that he's in, like live performance.
that is true.
Um, and it's about a singer. I don't know the full story. I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but um, it's I think it's geared to be like an award contender. Um, I've heard amazing things about Chadwick Boseman's performances
Hmm.
in the movie. I don't think it's out yet though.
It
Uh,
came out actually. It came out on Netflix on the 18th, which was I believe
oh,
last Friday.
I did not know that. Well, I'm gonna have to add it to my list then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that had a lot of draw, obviously because of Chadwick Boseman. But it just was. I think it was like promoted and advertised as a potential awards run. But I
Yeah.
guess we'll see what happens with that. So that's like the top of the list. Then we have Beanpole. I have not heard of it.
Nope.
Um, uh, Bakaru. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I have no idea what it is. I have
Never
no idea
heard
what
of
it
it.
is. Nope. Nomadland. I have heard of this. I just saw this on a Deadline article somewhere. Uh, like the other day, I was on Deadline and I saw an article about it. I think it was a review or something. But again, haven't seen it, haven't heard of it until like the other day. um, then we have Soul, which is of course the Pixar movie that's going
Yeah.
to
It is
Disney
also
Plus.
it is Christmas Day, by the way. I don't.
It is
Yeah.
okay. And then it's going to Disney Plus with no extra charge, right?
Yeah, this one is going to be free.
Yeah,
I wonder. I wonder why. I mean, I guess it's a good faith thing after the Mulan thing, but then they are
yeah,
moving back to the premium model for Kaya and the Last Dragon.
yeah.
So it's a real up in the air. Like, what do
I
you
don't know.
get?
It's kind of weird, but I'm
Yeah,
excited for this movie. This I've actually been like anticipating this since the first trailer came out.
yeah, I agree.
It reminds me a lot of Inside Out, um, from like its tone and theme and all that.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree with that.
Um, but we might have a review for that in the future. Not sure yet though. Um, then we have Lovers Rock. Haven't heard of it. Haven't seen it. Collective. Haven't heard of it. Haven't seen it. This is so bad.
I mean, these are like he's not listing. I feel like when we get to the TV shows, it's more of like stuff that is more of like I want to say the
It's,
people.
yes, it's a
Uh,
little bit more well-known stuff.
yeah, this feels
Um,
much more like the awards run type of like films.
right. I will say this next film that's called Mank. Came out on Netflix. I actually watched this last week, the week before.
Mm.
It was pretty good. It's about the guy who wrote. Um, it's about the writer of Citizen Kane.
Ah,
Um, and his like, it's like about him writing Citizen Kane. So it's pretty interesting. Um, and it was shot really, really well. I actually recommend it if anyone has time. If you want to watch like an old style 1920s esque, 1930s, 40s esque kind of movie, it's good. It's good stuff. It's on Netflix. The rest of these I haven't seen, but I will list them for everyone. um, Martin Eden, Let Him Go, Time, Boys State. Is that the Disney Plus thing that came out? That like that football movie on Disney? I could be totally
Uh,
wrong.
Possible. Boys State.
Boys State. Um,
It's an Apple TV documentary
oh,
about
we don't have Apple TV.
1,000 teenage boys as they attend Alabama Boys State in Texas. Oh wait, no, AL Boys State in Texas.
All right.
I don't know what
Well,
that is.
we don't have Apple TV. Can't speak on it.
Low key,
Uh,
fuck Apple TV. How about that?
yeah, it's too small of a platform at this point.
Yeah.
Sayla and the Spades, and then Crip Camp. Haven't seen most of these, but the ones that I did talk about a little bit, I recommend because they look solid, and the ones that I have are solid. Ones that I've
That's
seen.
true.
Moving on to the TV shows, though. This is the real meat and potatoes here, John.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about on this one. First off, Better Call Saul, fucking great choice. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, watch that shit. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I have not, but that. Where does that even stream? Does that stream on HBO?
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not sure if it's completely up to date. I'm pretty sure it is, but we're talking Emmys out the ass, all
Yeah,
kinds.
I never got into the whole Breaking Bad thing, so I just never had like
Yeah.
a purpose to jump into Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I mean, Better Call Saul is a prequel series to Breaking Bad, about a lawyer, but I'll leave it at that. It's about Saul Goodman, lawyer. If you've seen Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about. You know what it's about. I recommend. Then after that, we have The Queen's Gambit, which we talked about on this podcast. Fantastic show.
Brilliant show.
Fantastic. If
Yeah.
you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Definitely a big Emmy contender.
I think everyone who's listening to this podcast has probably watched The Queen's Gambit, if I'm not mistaken, or most everyone. Then we have I May Destroy You. I haven't heard of this. I don't know what it's on. He has The Boys on here. Love The Boys. Great show.
Yeah, honestly, I really would love to see a reaction video of Obama watching that final scene in season 2.
Yeah, true. Oh my God.
No spoilers for The Boys.
Yeah.
Or any scene in season 2, really. The whole thing's just like it's very unpresidential.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
Sure. He's also got The Good Lord Bird. Haven't seen it. Devs is on here. Haven't seen it. The Last Dance. It's the Michael Jordan documentary. I have seen that. It's very good.
Yeah, just pretty good.
If you like docuseries. Mrs. America. I think that's also a documentary show or series, but I'm not positive. Haven't seen it though. John, you'll love this. The Good Place is in here.
Good Place is a great fucking show. 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
I have to say that I gave up on it again, I will admit. But every time The Good Place keeps getting brought up on this podcast, it's like pushing me more and more to go watch it again. So
yeah, I think I don't know what I don't want to say I don't know what your problem is.
I just didn't have time.
Yeah, I think the show you got to just watch it to watch it. Like if you watch it expecting it to be like a nonstop sitcom, that's not really what it's about. It's just kind of funny, but it's more just about
the story of it all.
Yeah. It's more of a philosophical experience, I guess.
The reason I didn't continue it is just because I didn't have time, and honestly my list of shows right now that I'm on or into is ridiculous, and I'm kind of screwing myself, but
yeah,
that's here nor there.
I'm going to use that to segue for us.
Yes.
So we all have big backlogs this season, as we do every single day of our lives, because they just keep putting shit out.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously being able to take a break over the holidays, unwind, be able to plug in, see what you've been missing, catch up on some shows. So Billy and I just wanted to talk about what movies and TV shows we're going to try to watch to kind of clear out the backlog over the
Yeah.
next like 2-ish weeks.
Yeah.
And then probably by the end of those 2 weeks, they're going to add 40 more shows to our list, and we're going
Probably.
to be fucked.
But
But
knowing that,
yeah, so what are you watching right now, Billy? Like, what are we trying to clear out, and then what are we going to try to?
I will tell you this. So as I was just saying about my TV show dilemma, I am currently rotating between three shows uh, at the very moment, which is Marvelous Miss Maisel,
Hmm.
The Crown, and Ozark. Um, and right now, I am heavily invested in Ozark. That is my like go-to show right now. So I think over the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna finish Ozark or catch up,
Hmm.
and then I will probably catch up with Miss Maisel. Um, and then I will probably hit The Crown after that. But I also, on my list for Netflix at least, I have Blood of Zeus, which is like an anime,
Yeah, I just watched it the other
small
week.
series.
It is
Yeah, I have
super
that.
easy to watch.
Yeah, I watched like the first like 20 minutes of the first episode, and then I fell asleep. So I have to rewatch that. But it was interesting, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick watch
Um,
once you fully get into it because it's like 25 minutes and it's like 8 episodes, I think.
yeah,
So
it's
once you
pretty short.
actually like commit, you can get it done in like 2.5 hours, like a day.
Right. It's like what's it called? Castlevania that they have
Yes,
on Netflix. It's very similar to
I
that.
believe it is the same like studio.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the same outsource. Um, but that's pretty much what I have for TV shows. And then other than that, I'm probably gonna be watching Wonder Woman and Soul for movies,
Mm-hmm.
unless I come across anything else that really hits me. Maybe Tenet, maybe.
Yeah, Tenet does come to streaming. Did you say sometime in January? Like you can
I
rent
believe
it?
it's early January when you can rent it, like January 5th or 6th. Um,
Gotcha.
so I may get to that around the next podcast release.
Mm-hmm. That
But what do
is
you
fair.
have? What do you have lined up?
So, I like to have a little bit of background noise in my life, but every once in a while, it's like I usually like to have something on just while I'm doing stuff. But I've been rewatching Deep Space Nine, and I am starting to
Yeah,
get to the finale, like the series finale.
yeah,
And by the end of the show, it really, really ramps up. Like there's an ensemble cast as like every Star Trek show, really, but it starts with like six main characters, and now
yeah.
every episode starts, and after they do the title sequence with like the actual main actors, they spend
Right.
like at least a minute just listing other actors that have become main characters. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's just so deep, and there's just so much going on, and I just love the final season of that show. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the first, I think. It actually is one of the first real forays into. Is it called procedural storytelling? I'm trying to think of like the actual word. It's called like serialized.
Sure.
Like whenever it's what a when a TV show has like actual like content that crosses across episodes.
Yeah.
I believe it's serialized. So that show's been great. I am watching The Crown. I'm on season. Yeah, I'm on the end of season 2. So that's
Okay.
2 more seasons to bang out. Then I think I'm going to jump over to Amazon Prime because
Ooh.
a new season of The Expanse just came out, and I've heard
Oh,
nothing but good things about that show. So I really wanted to start it. It's another sci-fi show that I think would, I love all the Star Trek science fiction stuff.
yeah.
But they also have Carnival Row over there, which is like a weird like steampunk fantasy thing, and like that also just sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Fleabag's over there.
Ooh, I
Uh,
heard Fleabag is fantastic.
yeah, I feel like I might be digging a trench. I want to because these shows are gonna last forever. uh,
Yeah.
I definitely want to get the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special out of the way.
Yes,
I
of
think that
course.
would be good. And then I'm probably I don't know if I'm actually even gonna watch that many movies. I
Yeah.
have like a couple things on my list, but it's mostly just doing these like bigger TV shows at this point.
Yeah.
So,
I have a bunch of movies lined up, but I have so many shows that I've been invested in recently. I just want to get them knocked out. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree.
Um, I've been watching Ozark the past week, pretty much every night. That's like my go-to, and it's been fucking awesome. I love it. But that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always good to
Um,
get the stuff kind of cleaned out of your backlog. I think I say this now, and then I asked for a bunch of video games for Christmas, so we're going to see that come in pretty quick. And that's
yeah,
going to take
it's
up
gonna
like
take
all
up
my
its own
time.
time.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. Well, speaking of things coming up, um, we're getting closer to our topic of the week, but we're not
Mm.
going to talk about the topic yet. But it is related. Our last story from this week is they announced the Boba Fett show that's coming out next December 2021.
Yep.
It's called the Book of Boba Fett. Um, I guess we previously thought that Mandalorian season 3 was going to come out this time, but it looks like now it's Boba Fett, um, which I think was like a miscommunication thing on Disney's part.
Yeah, it was
Um,
Kathleen Kennedy said that Mandalorian's story, like the story of the Mandalorian, would continue in
yes,
December 2021.
yeah,
But what she meant was like Star Wars as a whole, really, or like things set during that timeline, because this is set during the
yeah,
time of the Mandalorian.
right. It's basically picking up right where season 2 left off,
Yeah.
um, which is pretty sick if you've seen season 2. Um, it turned out really well, but this Boba Fett show has been this Boba Fett project has been in development for like years.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Josh Trank was going to make like a movie, a Boba Fett movie. Then, of course, that fell through. Um, and there were always rumors that he was going to show up on The Mandalorian. Um, and I don't even know if I should say anything about that. But
Yeah, I mean, I think unless you have anything non-spoilery to say, it might be time to
just like say it, yeah,
semi-jump into the spoiler section. I think,
sure,
yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say. I mean, it really has been a long time coming. This is one of the original movies that they had pitched, like as soon as Disney bought Star Wars.
yes,
It ended up not happening mainly because I think, eight performed well, but it performed mixed from like a PR perspective, and then Solo didn't really pull in the numbers I think they thought it was going to.
yeah, no,
And then I think after Solo kind of, maybe financially failed. Like obviously it made money, and personally I think it's actually one of the best things that Disney's put out with the
yeah.
brand. But yeah, like after that they kind of just held up.
I
Like they
think it
had
just
a
failed its projections overall. Like they
yeah
projected it to be like $1 billion thing, and then of course it didn't. But
yeah
I agree, it's up there. It's very good. It's a lot better than what people make it out to be.
yeah
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess we should say from this point on, if you haven't seen Mandalorian season 2, there are spoilers going forward on the episode here. Because we're gonna get into season 2 and review it for our topic this week. Um, but I guess just to wrap up this Boba Fett situation,
mm-hmm.
I'm happy that the way they brought him in season 2, I think it worked out really well. Um, and his character blended in with the show like fantastically. So it's good to see that this show, based off of what we believe it to be leading into, I think it's gonna be good. I think
Yeah,
there's a lot to look forward to.
yeah, I agree. I think the show has a lot of promise, and
Yeah.
that is why we will talk about it. So once again, if you have not seen Mandalorian season 2, click off now. I'll give you
Yes.
like 2 more nanoseconds, and then we can talk obviously about the awesome post-credit scene
Yes,
at the
sir.
end of Mandalorian season 2 where Boba Fett
Oh,
goes back to Tatooine, man.
it's fantastic.
Like when the post-credit scene fucking starts and you just see those twin suns, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm like, we're back on Tatooine, and then it like pans over to
Yeah.
Jabba's palace. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was fucking sick.
Yeah. I was almost expecting to see a like a child of Boba Fett, or not Boba Fett, Jabba, like a Jabba's kid or something.
Yeah, Jabba's kid is canon because he shows up in
Yeah.
what's it called? Rhoda,
The Clone
the
Wars
yeah,
movie.
the Clone Wars movie. I think everyone would better like they'd be better off forgetting that movie exists, even though
Well,
it
yeah, I
started
mean,
such a great like franchise or like series.
yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be Zero, who's like his crime lord cousin. Actually,
true.
Zero
I
might
think
have.
she's dead. Isn't she dead from Clone Wars or
He
something?
might be.
He,
I
she,
know. It's
whatever
a he
gender.
slug.
Okay, well,
He's very like
slug.
yeah. Zero speaks English, whereas Jabba does not. And
Right.
Zero is like he sounds like he's from New Orleans. Like he's
Yeah,
got
it
like a
sounds like he
big
smokes
stupid
like
Southern
a
vibe.
pack of cigarettes every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but it was equally cool to see. I don't remember the dude's name. Bib Fortuna. I do remember his name.
It's
Uh,
like Jabba's assistant or
yeah,
whatever.
he's like Jabba's assistant in the first movie, and like he's gotten fat and he's took over.
Yeah.
That was awesome, and it was also awesome to see kind of like a very similar like walk-in that like Luke did in
Yes.
Return of the Jedi. It was like a very
Yeah.
similar kind of like walk up and just talk to him.
Yeah, they had like the lighting matched like perfectly from the original.
Yeah, super
Um,
cool.
I loved how the guy Bib Fortuna like he was starting to he like you saw him and like you knew who he was right away,
Mm.
but like my first thought when I saw him was like he's starting to look like Jabba. Like
Yeah, he's
he's
getting
starting to look
fat.
like a hut. Like he's getting fat. Like he's living luxuriously, I guess if you want to call it that for his
Mm.
lifestyle. Uh, but yeah, like seeing Boba Fett walk in there and just cap him, just like take over the throne.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Whoa! It was
Honestly, I half
nuts.
expected him to fall into the Rancor pit because like he's
I,
standing
I
right
was
on the cage.
I was like, dude, someone's gonna drop him in there, but then he's just gonna kill whatever's down there.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that there's nothing probably in there anymore. It's they probably didn't replace the Rancor that Luke killed.
Probably. It's a
Uh,
big thing to wrangle.
yeah, it was also like I mean, obviously they don't have much time to get this like end credit scene off, but it was
Sure.
also like very empty compared to what it normally is. You know what I mean? Like the only people in the room were Bib Fortuna and like two people, and then his like a Twi'lek slave.
Yeah, it looked like there were like 4 or 5 people in the background, but
Mm.
um, it was probably like a closed set. I wouldn't be surprised if they shot this during the pandemic. They had like just a closed set, real small.
Yeah,
But
just
yeah,
did it in secret.
normally Jabba's palace is like bumping. There's like it's almost like a nightclub type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be different. It could just be after the downfall of like Jabba.
Yeah,
Like the whole thing's in shambles, which probably makes sense why it's so easy for him to just walk in there and take it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm really interested to see what he actually does with that. Like, is he going to start running his own mafia? Is he going to
Right.
get all of the bounty hunters back together from like
Oh,
Empire Strikes Back?
I'd love to see like either of those, like mob boss, Boba Fett,
Mm-hmm.
or like getting the old bounty crew back together and make like a faction or something in the Tatooine desert. That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
Like, there's so many good possibilities, and I like that. What's her name is with him? The other bounty hunter.
something Fennec.
Yeah, Fennec. Yeah. I really like. I love the actress who plays her.
Mm.
Ming Na Wen. Uh, she's like. Did you know that she's like 50? She's like 50 years old.
No, I did not, but like, good for her.
She's like literally like she's like 50. She voiced Mulan in the original Mulan animation.
Mm.
She's like big like stunt actress. Um,
Yeah, she was in Agents of Shield for I think the
yeah,
entire run. She was one of the main characters.
right. But like I mean like I don't think that like her character is like super like crazy interesting, but I just like her as like an actress, and I think that like her like action scene that she had earlier in season 2 was awesome. Like uh
Mm.
and I think it was episode 6 or something, whatever it was, when her and Boba showed up.
Yeah, we'll get into the full like episode by episode breakdown in a second.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I agree. She is actually a really good actress.
yeah.
It's good to
I just
see
think
her
it's
in
fun that
more
she's
stuff.
sticking around, and I think it'll be cool to see the dynamic between her and Boba like develop even more
Hmm.
as it goes on.
Yeah, it
But
was cool to see her come back too from season one.
yeah,
Like she felt like
Yeah,
a almost too good a character to throw away.
I agree. I would agree. Um, but yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps up the Boba Fett series. Um,
Mm.
the introduction of that, but I guess let's jump into our topic for the week. We're going to be talking about Mandalorian season 2 as a whole.
Mm.
Of course, the season finale just happened this past Friday.
Yeah.
It was fucking insane,
Mind boggling.
mind-boggling. Probably the best Star Wars we've seen since Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we've said that about Mandalorian before. Probably one. I think, yeah, we probably have. Or you know what? We said it off the podcast. I said it off the podcast. In a conversation with you about the about midway through the season.
Yeah.
Uh, Obviously, spoilers for season 2 if you haven't seen it because we're talking about it. But basic, I guess, just to like start at the beginning. Every episode hits. Like, there's not a bad episode in here. Uh, the story continues. This whole season is about Mando trying to find a home for the child. Um, the child gets a name. His name's Grogu now. Uh, and it's basically his journey of like finding a Jedi to give him to. Um, and we get to see like their bond develop even more. Like, it's just really good. Like, this show is just fucking great. Like,
Yeah, I agree. Like it takes us on a full journey, and I think it's also just good to know that like this specific season kind of
yeah,
like wraps up the whole Grogu arc. It really opens up the show. Like the show could just end here, you know what I mean? But they're gonna open up the show to like a whole different kind of like they could go anywhere from here, really.
yeah,
And I
I
think that's
agree.
just a great place to end a show that's doing well. Like you're just gonna surprise us no matter what you do next season.
Yeah, I think Din Djarin as a character has become. I think after this season, he's solidified as like a Star Wars great. Like as far as characters go, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like he's gonna be up there. Like when it's all said and done, when the Mandalorian is over, I guess, which
Yeah,
hopefully is not anytime soon.
it'll
But
be one of the names that you think of when you think of Star Wars.
right, like we think of like obviously Anakin, Luke, like Ahsoka, Leia, Han. Like I think Din Djarin will be up there in that conversation when it's all said and done.
Hmm.
He's so cool. Um, we got to see his face. Um, that was obviously like speculation about some kind of uh, offset or onset beef. You know, trying to take
Yeah,
the helmet off.
there was originally a lot of conversation. We even talked about it here that he might not even be in like the later half of the season. Like he
Yeah,
walked off set and he refused this and that.
right,
And
right.
like I think there's always a little bit of truth inside of the rumors.
Yeah,
But like from obviously from what we've seen, he does not leave.
yeah,
If
no,
anything, he gets more FaceTime, but I'm not even sure. I don't know. Like it feels totally natural. Like the writer, John Favreau's
yeah,
writing most of it. And
hmm,
it's like him and Dave Filoni. I think like you almost don't even notice if there was actually that kind of beef.
yeah.
So
No, I agree. I mean, it's whatever drama there was. It seems they obviously they worked it out for the story. Um, and I think that both times that he took his helmet off and he saw his face were both justified, and it actually like you know made his character even deeper and more likable.
mm-hmm.
Um, the first time he does it, the episode with Bill Burr's character, sick side character, like he's cool as fuck. Um, I love one thing I love about the show is the I feel like we see so much more of the Empire that we never got to see before.
Yeah, even though
Um,
the Empire's dead.
yeah, I mean, like just like the remnants of it, and like getting to know like people who were in the Empire, who you know always hated the Empire, who never wanted anything to do with it,
Yeah.
or the people that were in it now they're out. Like it's like a different kind of world. Um, and in the finale episode, like the opening scene, like the that like officer, the pilot or officer in that like
Mm-hmm.
ship was like, we like eradicated terrorism, and it's like holy shit, like this is nuts. Like
Yeah,
such
I
like
mean
a
he's
deeper conversation to be having in like a Star Wars like movie or show, you know?
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the rebels are the terrorists.
Yeah, but like you never
Depends on
hear
how
those
you
kind of words get
frame
thrown
it.
around in Star Wars. Like we eliminated galactic terrorism. It's like holy shit! Like
Yeah,
we're getting deep. Like
I mean it's a
deeper
deeper
than Star Wars ever was.
topic for something that's harder to display in a movie. There's like not really enough time to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, there actually has been a lot of since Disney took over. There's been a lot more like imperial focused content.
right.
Like also the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign is like completely surround. Like the main focus is a squad of Imperial troopers like just following the Battle of Endor.
Sure.
And you know that was also a really interesting story. You kind of get the exact same vibe off of these people, and there's even some references.
Yeah,
Bill Burr makes a reference to that video game or like the story of that game.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I agree. I think that it just takes like a very different direction to like the more like day to day of the Imperial, which you just don't have a chance to see, obviously, because the movies are all about the Death Star.
yeah, yeah.
But you see more of like the the research facilities, and they're trying to like make force sensitive clones, which obviously feeds into Episode 9 of Star Wars, when
Yes.
eventually along the way they perfect it and they get Snoke and they get Darth Sidious,
Right, right.
his clones back. I want to go episode by episode here, or just like a general overview of the season. Like,
Yeah,
what
go
did
ahead.
you think about the thing as a whole? Like, were there any standout episodes or like anything that you thought? I don't know. Like,
Um,
what's the general feel for you?
I think as a whole the season's great.
Mm.
Um, I would say it's on par with season one. I'm not gonna say it's better.
Mm.
I'd say it's just as good, at least. Um, because I mean, obviously, I need more time to like think about it and sit on it. Um,
Yeah.
let it marinate, I guess. But like standout moments, I guess, like uh, I don't know, like every episode was just really good. Like there wasn't an episode that I watched where I was like, I could have done without this. Um, and like all the guest appearances that showed up, all the characters that like looped into the plot were great. Um, the downsides that I could think of, like there were like some like minor little um plot holes or MacGuffins, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of like you know took a little like made me think at the moment, like the episode where Boba Fett shows up and Mando forgets his jetpack. Um, that whole thing was like so dumb in my mind, but like it was fine because it made the plot what it was.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the episodes that followed worked out and they were still good.
Yeah, there are a couple of
Uh,
things like that. Like, the big one for me was like, obviously, Mando takes his mask off to get read for the Imperial scanner so that
yeah.
he can like look up where Grogu is. But like when
Hmm.
you like, it's like a tense moment because you're like, oh, he has to compromise his creed, and he takes off his helmet. Now like everyone knows what he looks like. Blah blah blah. And
Right,
like in
right.
the moment, it makes sense. And then you like take a step back and it's like, why do you have to take his mask off? And like if he did have to take his mask off, why would it scan him, realize he's not an Imperial trooper, but then give him access? Like what's the face scan for then? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Like it was just such a weird.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
little unexplained like nuances like that. But even so,
It
like
makes sense in the moment.
it makes sense in the moment. Like there's never a moment. I don't think there was a moment during the show that I was like, where I stopped and I was like, that's stupid, or like, you know what I mean. I stayed along for the ride and I wasn't turd.
Yeah.
Um, if anything, I'm trying to think of like other negatives. I mean, it, I guess weakest character. I'll say that weakest character. I'm gonna be honest. I think uh, Moff Gideon was probably my weakest character in my mind.
Hmm.
I think by the end of the show or end of the series, season,
Hmm.
uh, especially like the last episode, I guess where he had the most screen time. I just thought he was really like he reminded me of like Mojo Jojo from like Powerpuff Girls. I was like, this guy is so like he's such a cartoon. Like,
Like he's just straight up evil.
yeah, he's just like straight up evil and over the top, and like uh like when he attacks Mando in the finale, like he's just like, yeah, just take him, and like immediately fakes him out, and he's just like chopping and hacking at him. I'm like, bro, like just make like a make a decision. Like don't swing at the armor. Like swing different somewhere
I
else.
mean,
You know what I mean? Like
he's got
just like little
no
things like that.
non-armor place, low key.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I don't know. Other than that, like again, like I said, like there wasn't really anything that was like you know that bad to me. Like even though I think Moff Gideon is like somewhat of like a weak character, I'm not like it doesn't like totally like throw the show off for me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking. I mean, I like that scene. I just think Moff Gideon's underused. I don't know if like it felt
Yeah.
weak. I think for me, one of my weaker characters was, unfortunately, was Bo-Katan. I think
Mm,
she has like a rich. I think as a character, she's really strong, but her motivations to me, especially given like the end of the show, don't
yeah.
make any sense anymore, and I'm like very confused as to what's
Yeah.
up. Because like, and it's not on like a big level. Like obviously, her motivation is, get the dark saber, become Queen of Mandalore, but
Yeah.
like she makes fun of Din Djarin in the beginning because he follows the creed, like he follows very strictly the Mandalorian religion. She's
Yeah.
like, nobody really does that. And then in the last episode, she's like, I can't believe you broke the religion and now we have to deal like she very much does care about it when it pertains to like you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Like she's all over
It'll
the
it
place.
she only cares about it when it's like within her interests.
Kind of,
Um,
but like
I guess.
yeah, like it's just weird to take like parts of it, but not the whole thing.
Sure.
Um, Also, I think it would have been, and this is not anything against the show. Would have been really cool if Moff Gideon chopped off Mando's hand.
Yeah. I mean
Because
that would have been pretty sick.
that would have
There's a little
been,
bit more stakes to
it's
it.
just better Star Wars. Because if you're the main character, you
Sure.
got to get your fucking hand chopped
You gotta
off.
lose a limb.
Yeah, Anakin lost three, Luke lost one, but they
Yeah.
both lost their hand.
I mean I think that would have been cool.
Yeah,
Maybe lose a leg, you know, a little
yeah, just
different.
I don't know. I feel like Star Wars obviously rhymes, so you got to get that hand action, at least like a finger.
Yeah.
Um, I think at the end of the season, it's like, wow, that was great. And
Hmm.
I don't know if I'd cut an episode for like continuity reasons. And I do
Yeah.
think this season's better than the first one. I think the fan service is better. I
Hmm.
think there's a lot less like side questing
Hmm.
where it's like, oh, you want this, then you got to go do this. Like, oh, you want to go here? First, you got to go here. Like, there's still a little bit of that. Like, obviously, episode 2 of the show is literally just a side quest,
Yeah.
and I think that like it's good to get away from it towards the end because also the first episode's a fucking side quest.
Yeah. I think the
Um,
first episode is one of the strongest of the season, in my opinion.
I just like they're good episodes, but they're so useless. Like by
They are.
episode 4 of
Yeah.
this show, I enjoyed every episode. Nothing had happened.
Yeah, it's like where are we going?
Yeah, like the first
Yeah.
episode, you get Boba Fett's armor because you need to get the armor because you like armor.
Yeah.
Okay. Like 2, you just like I get it, but like why can't you just take her there instantly, get the information? Like why do we need to talk about, fighting spiders for like 30 minutes?
Sure.
Which is cool, but we don't need that. Like
Yeah.
we just should have jumped all the way, I
Yeah,
guess.
it could just jump straight to like the main plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, now I'm
I know what
thinking
you're
about
saying.
it. There's a scene in chapter 3, which is the one where you first meet Bo-Katan, where
Hmm.
like, isn't there like a girl in a cloak who like shows up for a brief second and then disappears? But she was in the trailers a lot, but she never comes back up.
I don't remember. Um,
That's spooky.
yeah, I don't remember. I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
Like
I
people
don't
were thinking
remember.
that she was like Ahsoka, but she was gonna be like re-rendered, like it was just like a stand-in.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
never actually comes up again, which is not good.
Not sure.
That means it'll come back later. Um,
I don't know.
maybe it's the girl that hangs out with Bo-Katan. Maybe I should go back and
Which
take a
one?
look.
Wasn't there someone that he like made contact with other than Bo-Katan? Or maybe oh, it was from
He makes
people, I guess.
contact with the Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
And that's not the person. That's like the person's in like a black cloak, like watching
Right.
him, and then it like a cart goes in front, and then she like disappears. But yeah, after
Oh, I remember that. It was at the docks. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like she never comes back up. So that's interesting because I mean a similar thing happens in season one where Venick is like dead on the ground, like she's about to die,
Hmm.
and then like feet show up, and like now we learn in this season that it's Boba Fett who ended up saving her.
Right.
So like maybe she'll come back later, but I think that once you hit like the Ahsoka episode, like the
Hmm.
show hits its stride and like this is what we have to do. And I think
Yeah.
honestly it was a really big shock for everybody when in the next episode they're fucking at Tython. Like
Yeah.
like
They
there
just
was
got
no
there.
side bullshit. We're just there. And
Yeah, I
like
assumed it was gonna be like a couple, like one or two side episodes or something, like
yeah.
because I think people just assumed there would be like take time to get to the place, but they just showed up.
Yeah. And I think
Um,
that's what we need
I
more of.
agree.
I think once they hit the stride of like that fifth episode, like then it's
Hmm.
just a fucking race to the finish and it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no more meandering. We're just we're running, we're doing stuff. We're getting the Beskar spear. Then
Yep,
next on Tython, Boba Fett shows up. It's fucking crazy. Uh,
yep.
the fucking whatever explodes. The Razor Crest explodes. Like it's cool. And then they're like, quick, we gotta go get fucking Mayfeld. We gotta go get Bill Burr. And then
Yeah,
the episode starts and they got him. Yes,
yeah.
like they're just doing
Everything was
shit.
just moving. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. And it felt um in the moment I was like, oh, I kind of wish these episodes were a little longer because those episodes they got
yeah,
shortened. They were down to like 35 minutes or something like that.
yeah. Some of them. One of them's 26. And it
Yeah,
really like I really wish there was a more consistent
like
like
time.
45 to yeah. Like some of
Yeah,
them
I
are really
agree.
short and it's unfortunate. Like the passenger one, like it's very, you know,
Yeah,
it is what it is. I get like obviously it's an expensive show to make. Like it looks probably the highest quality television show out there,
yeah.
like
At the
production
current
wise.
moment, for sure.
And I don't know. But yeah, I agree. I wish the show episodes were a little bit longer. But it does have
Yeah,
like when especially when you get to the back half, like it definitely helps like tighten up the show as you're watching it.
sure, sure. I think I think they're definitely investing the right time. They're investing the right creators in it.
Mm-hmm.
John Favreau, like you said, is a one of the main writers on the show. George Lucas has a hand in every episode. Um, Dave Filoni's in there.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a good team like around this, like at all times. And I saw that with the Boba Fett announcement, they said Robert Rodriguez is going to be an executive producer on that.
Yeah.
He directed the episode where Boba Fett shows up. Um, it's all just like good stuff. Like they're investing in the right people, and I think that Lucasfilm is they realized the mistakes they made with the sequels, and they're moving forward in a direction that the fans want to see.
Yeah.
Um, and they're giving good fan service. Um, Obviously, with the season finale,
Mm-hmm.
when who shows up at the end.
Well, we're in the spoiler
Uh,
section, so fucking tell me.
Fucking Luke Skywalker shows up.
Oh, sick.
Oh my god! Dude, when that happened, like when the X-wing flew into the scene,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it, and then you see him walk down in the cloak or whatever, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, nah, they can't, like, they can't do this, you can't just do this fast, and not in a bad way, but you can't, I figured it was gonna be Ahsoka or maybe it was gonna be like a surprise show up. But in my mind, I was like, they can't fucking Luke into this. They can't afford to do the de aging, or they're not going to announce a new actor for this. There's no fucking way that this didn't get out, right?
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, to my dumbass, they fucking did it. They just rocked me to sleep, dude. Oh
Yeah.
my,
Mark Hamill had it under wraps for a fucking year.
yeah, yeah, dude. I love how he handled it too. He was like, anything good come out on TV this week, guys? it
Yeah.
was it was so good. It was very just it was everything the fans wanted, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was in an unexpected way.
Yes, definitely.
Like the fan service never feels like it's pandering. I always feel like it makes sense and it feels good. And
Yeah,
I'm really excited because when they were talking about all these shows at the investor meeting, like they made it sound like all of these shows are going to eventually culminate
into
into
something.
like one final like Avengers type event.
Right.
Like either the final event is either going to be like a Thrawn thing or some new thing that's going to show up in all these like a bigger enemy.
Sure.
Um, and like at this point, like that could either be its own season, like a Defenders thing, or it could be like honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they just put out a fucking full length movie with these
Hmm.
characters and either make it a Disney Plus like original or put it out in theaters.
Sure.
You know what? They probably put my tinfoil hat on. They probably are trying to build towards like a Thrawn like big movie event.
Yeah, either a Thrawn movie or like a Thrawn storyline
Yeah, and to
that'll
see like I'm just
like
so excited to see all of this come back together. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. I think it's I think they're just doing all the right things. They're hitting all the right strides.
Mm-hmm.
Um do you think how do you feel about um the season ending and Luke takes Grogu and he's gone? Like I think the moment was handled well. I mean, like it was a big
Yeah,
mixture of like holy shit fan service, like I can't fucking believe Luke Skywalker's here, and also like this is so fucked, like Grogu has to leave now. Um
yeah.
like
I
what do you think this means for for Din Djarin, and how soon are we going to see Grogu again? You know.
I
Oh,
don't think we're even going to see him next season. I think it might be depending on how much plan or show they have planned.
yeah,
It could be a couple of seasons. I mean, they might even have to do a time jump because I really don't think he's going to get anywhere in his training within only a couple of years.
sure.
Unless most of his training was complete already. I mean, like maybe we'll see him again towards the very end.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, for me, I'm like really excited about the way that it ends. I think that the Grogu arc, while interesting, like there's
Hmm.
only so far that you can, I'm trying to find a home for this dude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you could walk half the galaxy and really like accomplish nothing, I guess. So I'm glad that there's like a
yeah,
finite ending on that. And I think the
yeah,
shift towards the actual like the story of Mandalore is really an interesting place to explore. Like when the season
yeah.
starts, are they going to do honorable combat between him and Bo-Katan?
Hmm.
Is he gonna take the mantle even though he doesn't want it? Like will he just refuse to lose and become the king of like the leader of Mandalore? And will he like try to
Right.
rise up against the remnants of the Empire and like rebuild his people?
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I feel like the armor is probably going to come back from season one and give him some wisdom.
probably.
Like she's going to join the cause. Maybe there'll be Mandalore Civil War Part Two
Probably,
because there was a
maybe,
civil war in the first.
maybe he'll try and take the mantle, but then he'll be like outcast because they're like, you took your helmet off, like throughout the second season. You know, like
Maybe. I mean, I think it's
maybe
definitely
that'll
like
come back to bite him in like the actual like Mandalore, you know,
yeah. If it
action.
goes to civil war, I mean they already had a civil war the first time, so I don't know how far they're gonna like if they would go to that again.
Yeah,
But
I don't know if there's
I
enough of them to be a civil war. If anything, it'd be like descent in the ranks.
yeah, it's just gonna be like I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's about the fate of Mandalore, like the tone that they're gonna use to try to rebuild the civilization.
Yeah,
I don't know. I want to see him be the leader that like he doesn't want to be. Like he doesn't want it, but that's what makes a leader great. Like that theme.
yeah,
And then I want to see if Bo Katan can like deal with that. I think that'd be an interesting way to like, keep going with the show.
sure. I agree. I think it would. I think this show is it's like it's had its story with Grogu, like you said, like that whole like plot line.
Mm-hmm.
It is sad to see him go, whether he comes back or not. I think it's good for Din as a character, and just like the Mandalorian like cult faction, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
the people of Mandalore. Like I think that story has way more weight than running into the fractured empire or having to deal with the New Republic. Um, I'd love to see them like talk about like the future of Mandalore and like what that's going to be. And I
Yeah,
think
you
that
gotta get
holds a
the
lot more
house
weight
back in
for.
order.
Yeah, I think it holds a lot more weight for Din Djarin because he, like you said, I don't think he wants to be the king or the leader, but he also, you could tell he has a lot of respect for it. So
Yeah.
there's that too. It's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of different I don't want to say elements, but
Yeah,
mixing
there's a lot of
paths.
play.
Yeah, there's a lot to mess with. Um, do you think? I saw some people speculating about Luke. Do you think they're ever gonna do a Luke Skywalker show where he's like building like the Jedi Temple or shit like that? Like
Yeah, I
that'd
did
be crazy.
see that there was a rumor that like they were starting pre-production on a possible Luke Skywalker show.
Yeah,
My guess is probably not. I guess it depends on how well that pre-production goes. Just because I
I would
feel
say not
like,
for a while.
yeah, and if they did, like they'd probably get Mark Hamill to come in and do the voice acting for it, and like just dub someone over like they did with this. Because like it's just a
Probably.
body actor, and then they de-age and like strap Mark Hamill's face to it, and then Mark Hamill comes in and does the voice acting.
Yeah. Do you
And
think?
then I don't
What do
know.
you think of Sebastian Stan potentially picking up that role?
It could work. I think I don't know. There's a lot of problems. Like Mark Hamill's, he's in great shape, but he's old, and it's like
Yeah,
if he dies before the show comes out, then there's going to
it's
be
gonna be
big
fucked.
problems. If he dies during the show, there's going to be big problems.
Yep.
Like it's just potentially a like there's showing him here is cool, right? But at a
Yeah.
certain point, like it's kind of like the Solo paradox or conundrum
Yeah.
of it's like, oh, people like Solo, like they love Han Solo, but they also don't want to actually see more of Han Solo. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's already perfect, so it's like anything you add to it is like a very dangerous accident waiting to happen.
Sure.
I mean, there's something cool in that though. Like I could see like a Ben Solo show would be kind of interesting, or just like
Yeah,
having
like
him
a
in
young
there.
in the temple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it'd be fun. I think if they do it, um, I don't think that they'll bring Mark Hamill back. I think that they'll recast a young, similar looking actor
Yeah, but that makes people
because
angry.
oh, I know it will. But they were pissed when they recast Han Solo in the Solo movie too.
Yeah,
But I think that worked out decently.
I think it's the least
Decently,
successful Star Wars film.
it was.
Yeah,
But I think as a whole performance and like what he was
I
for
mean, I
that
think it
movie.
was great, but on the whole, obviously, there's a little bit of a problem with it for other
Sure,
people.
sure. I agree. I don't know. I think that their move right now with centering these other shows around the Mandalorian and eventually convening into a big overarching story is smart.
Yeah.
They're going the Marvel route. I think it's going to work for them because it's worked before.
Mm-hmm.
This is the right property to do it with because it has a universe like that,
Yeah.
and everything that they've announced and everything that's coming has all the right potential and creators behind it to
Mm-hmm.
be great, just like the Mandalorian is.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Uh,
I no, go
so
ahead, you go.
I was gonna say we've unfortunately overstayed our welcome
Oh
on
yeah,
the podcast. We're hitting about an hour 10 right now.
that's fine. I've pretty much said about everything I've had to say for the season. It's fantastic. This show's fantastic.
Yeah, I think everyone can definitely agree that it's one of the best Star Wars things to come out in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm definitely excited for all these other shows that they announced. I think that they've earned enough credit to be able to announce things without me getting scared that they're gonna fuck more shit up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And I'm really excited to see all of this going forward. And we're definitely going to have all of that here for you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that about does it. Next week we are going to take off for the holidays. So
Yep.
everybody enjoy your holidays, be with your family. We're gonna be with ours.
Hmm.
And then we will be back. I believe January 5th is the next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if we've actually specified. I think Tuesday is going to be our day going forward. I think that's just what works
It's
best.
been working for us,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And then we'll probably review either Soul or Wonder Woman or both.
Yeah.
And then
We'll
from
talk about one
there,
of them.
yeah, 2021 is going to be our oyster.
Yeah. We will be we will be attacking as we go.
Yeah.
As we do.
Yeah.
Um
We're almost coming up on a half a year's worth of episodes.
that's true.
Can't
We
believe it.
are we're getting there. Can't believe it.
Yeah. So we'll
um
see.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Appreciate you guys being here. It's been a good start for this podcast this year, for all the shit that's happened this year, all the stuff we've been through. It's
That's
good
true.
that we were able to uh let a phoenix soar out of the ashes.
Hmm.
The Cinema Scrutiny podcast.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
um
be sure to like, favorite, subscribe. Dislike it if you didn't like it. Tell your friends. I
Please.
think I don't know if we have any like exact plans for growing the channel next year, but that would be awesome if we did.
We'll figure it out
Yeah.
as we do.
So yeah,
But
let your friends
appreciate
know.
you guys sticking around. Let everyone know, all your friends. We appreciate everyone showing up. Um, and thank you again.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everyone.